Hey everyone, if you are ready for some actionable solutions to some of the biggest problems in education, you're in the right place.
Coffee on the counter, calendar in view. Got a room full of futures and a plan that's tried and true. I've done the late nights, I felt the burnout. Now I choose what feeds me and still brings the best out. Sustainable teaching, I can lead and still be breathing. Strong and steady, I'm increasing. Sustainable teaching, that's in the rhythm of my freedom. This is how I start my day believing.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sustainable Teaching Podcast. My name is Rae Hughart, and we have Tracy here with us. Tracy, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks, Rae.
Oh, so good. I have an entire full cup of tea right now that I'm going to try so hard not to spill during our conversation. While we get started, Tracy, do you mind sharing a little bit about who you are, what you do in education, just in case somebody listening maybe is not yet connected to you?
Hi, so I'm Tracy Flood. I am currently the Director of Teaching and Learning for Ridgeland School District 122. I've been in this role for 3 years. I started off my career as a fifth grade / special education teacher, which I did for 15 years. And then I moved on to the middle school, and I was a middle school assistant principal for 5 years, and then a middle school principal for 12 years. So a lot of time in middle school, and kind of getting toward the end of my school district career. So I've been in this role for 3 years, and I am actually slated to officially retire at the end of the year. So got to do a little bit of everything, and still love what I do. So
amazing. And she's getting close to retirement, feeling like you can see it. I mean, we'll have to talk about that for sure, because educators listening either feel like that's so far away or maybe in a similar boat to you. So we're going to get to that in a second. What I have to talk about first, Tracy, is we have actually popped into each other's lives a few times in our career. And I was so glad when we were messaging on LinkedIn that you reminded me that we've met before and connected, because sometimes you meet people, years go by, you just forget. And you were the principal of 2 of my colleagues that I previously worked with, Andrea and Megan, who I love. Our community most likely knows them. They were amazing rock stars. They founded the Teach Better Ambassador program, which I think has now closed, but it was an amazing program. Those are 2 very passionate middle school educators.
Yeah, and that's been one of the gifts is I've just gotten, when I think about all the people that I've gotten to work with over the years, and so many of those people are in leadership roles right now. Some of them I directly mentored over at the middle school. Some, have just found their way into leadership, and you feel like a proud parent to see so many, so many people that I knew at the beginning of their careers that have, gone on to administration or PD or, to be coaches. It's really just amazing. So education's a great place to be.
Yes, if any of you have heard these names and you're not sure, go look up Megan Deegan, who's now Megan Hosey, who I love following because I love following her dog's journey of all her puppies in her house. And then Andrea Coach Brenner is also an amazing former educator. Now I feel like in the world of teaching dance, and she's got 2 little ones, and just an amazing community that they've built for themselves in, so many different ways. But so cool to have that connection. When we reconnected, hearing that you were accomplishing not only so much in your career, but close to retirement, how are you feeling about stepping away from something you've been doing for so long? I mean, long.
I won't be fully stepping away. I will be working in education one way or another. I will definitely, the one thing that the past 3 years has kind of done for me, as a principal, things are so busy. And in this role, I have gotten the chance to kind of unturn those stones, go down those rabbit holes that I, just look into things that I really wanted to find out to help teaching and learning. And I've learned so much. I've learned so much in the past 3 years. Everything that I ever wanted to know as a teacher, as a middle school administrator, I've had the time now to really dive into. My goal is to make teachers' lives easier, to make our administrators' lives easier, help the principals, support the principals. So anything, when I kind of came into the role, it was like, do I know what I'm doing? And it's like, well, as long as I focus on what I know, I remember the frustrations of being a teacher and being a principal and the things that were difficult. So it's like, as long as I focus on what can I do to help support and make their lives easier, I can't go wrong. So I want, my plan is to take what I've learned and, move forward, share it, and continue to work, in education any way that I can. Cause I just feel like I've learned so much in the past few years. I've really fallen in love with, the tools, AI tools, which I know we'll talk about, just so many things that have just really rejuvenated my passion for education.
It's so funny. Just coincidentally, I was just talking to another blast from the past for maybe our listeners here. Comment if you are having some moments here like I am. But I was just talking to our friend Holly Stewart, who I still keep up with so much. She's an amazing educator. And when her and I were talking a little bit about what does retirement look like? She's having some conversations with her husband. I'm having some conversations with my partner. And, it's a very weird transition because in some regard, as an educator, you're kind of like, that feels so far away. And then when it gets closer, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of, I can't just go from doing everything to do nothing.
Right.
Have you found maybe some outlets, maybe some recommendations for people that, might be 5 years or just a few, 2 years away from retirement, things they should be considering? Anything that pops into your mind that kind of either is shocking or helpful for you?
I think it's, I'm a big believer in don't count. People are like, what's your countdown? There is no countdown. It's, I'm all about making the days count. Keep learning, keep going strong till the end. I was a runner and there's, if you start just looking at where's the, just the finish line, it's enjoy the journey. It's like, you have to keep moving. You have to, I think sometimes they're surprised where I'm like, I'll go to that training. I'll learn this. And, people kind of look like you're retiring. I'm like, my life still continues. I'm a learner. I'm a lifelong learner, and anything that I can learn and give. So, rather than, really trying to, look at that end of the year date, I haven't been doing that at all. It's more of what can I get done? How much can I get done here? And, I'm not, I guess I'm not the most enthusiastic retiree, but I still plan on, being around education as long as I possibly have something to contribute. And as long as I can keep, being a benefit to those around me.
We will keep you. Let me tell you, we will keep you. And for so many of you that might be listening, the countdown really comes in from what I hear when burnout is really, really prevalent in your life. And so, obviously here with the Sustainable Teaching Podcast, the Work with Teachers Deserve It movement, our goal is to help educators feel like their job isn't burning them out, find those sustainable practices that save you time, relieve your stress, help ease some of that tension so you can make every day count. I love your mindset, Tracy. May we all just have that approach and be inspired by you. We're going to dive into AI and a few other strategies that I am so excited to geek out with you about. So stick with us. This episode is brought to you by the Teachers Deserve It Blueprint, a done-for-you system for building a classroom that works without burnout. If you're tired of piecing it together on your own, this is your framework. See what's inside at teachersdeserveit.com. Tracy, when we were talking off camera about what actionable steps are really beneficial and what we can do to help educators, whether they're paraprofessionals, teachers, administrators, you had so many great ideas, and I cannot wait to share even just a few with our community here. Where do you want to start? What comes to mind first?
Well, I think, one of the frustrations now in education is it feels like we're always testing. It's like another test, another test, another test. So, the goal of that was really to make the assessment data more meaningful. We don't want to waste anybody's time. We really want to take the assessments that we give and make that data actionable, easy to understand, and be able to put it into practice right away. Because if you're, if we're just testing to test, then we are wasting our time. So the more we can take, what is this data telling us? How can it make my life easier? How can I, see what the kids know? How can I streamline? How can I compact? How can I take this and really make my life easier, and really celebrate the growth, and celebrate, it's really motivating to see, hey, this is really showing me this. So one of the things, so that's really been my goal, meeting with principals, meeting with teachers, explaining, data, state data reporting can be overwhelming. There's so much there. What does this mean? What does this mean? So I really have gone to almost any training workshop, anything that I can find to get a good understanding of that, and to help teachers and principals to put it into practice and to understand it, and make it accessible, make the data actionable, make it accessible. That's where I think I mentioned, I love AI, because one of the things, a lot of us are visual learners. So when we can take the data and put it into an easy to follow, understandable format, then it's just, it's like, I get it now. So one of the tools I actually took a course, I've taken 2 courses in AI, data innovation, and data for AI for student agency. And I learned about some tools that really, I was like, wow, like so it was a lot of fun, because, I have a 20 and a 22-year-old, and they always like, oh, mom, you don't know about AI. You don't know about AI. So, took my classes this summer, and now I show them. But one of my favorite is Notebook LM, which I was talking to you about. It's like your own personal research assistant. It is amazing. And, we all have the issue. Sometimes AI will hallucinate, or sometimes we'll get something crazy. Or in my case, I'm doing a data report and I'm entering the ELA data and my math data, and all of a sudden they switch it, or they make it up. And, you're like, it makes it up, or, it's just crazy. So one of the tools I love is Notebook LM, because you can search the web with it, but you can also upload your own sources to Notebook LM, and it is part of our Google suite. So if you are a Google school and you have it, it's right. I always say your waffle. It's right there in your waffle. It's a little black and white rainbow that says Notebook LM. When you click on that, you can upload sources. So I will take testing data, like the school summary data. Sometimes I will take different standards reports. I put it all in there, and the best part is the awesome thing is, so you have all these sources, and it's like you have a closed chatbot. You can ask it questions about the data. Can you tell me the area where we showed the most growth? Can you show me the area where we have the greatest area of need? Can you design a school improvement plan based on these results, with short, actionable steps? So that's just one part of it. The other part of it on the other side is Studio. And Studio will build for you. It will make, there's a slide deck there, there's infographics, there's quizzes, there's mind maps. And one of the things that I really love, and for anyone that's taking classes, it will give you an audio overview. So, if you are, studying some material and it's challenging, and you're in your car and you want to listen to this audio overview, I have a son right now in paramedic school, and I'm like, here you go. I'm like, and when he saw it, at first, no, I know what I'm doing. Well, once you see how it lays things out, and you can actually guide your videos, design a video for me to help explain to my teachers, design a video for my administrators, design a video for paraprofessionals, whatever your targeted audience is, it will design that video and help to explain it. So you have it in the audio, you can do it in the video, you can do it in the visuals and infographics. It's amazing.
I have to say, Tracy, we could geek out about this like for hours. And I'm so glad you're bringing it up, because I worry that sometimes educators and administrators, leaders, there's so many what ifs with AI. There's so many concerns about safety and also how do I get started? And if I get started, what's going to happen? And it's a spooky space. It's an unknown space, and nobody wants to do anything wrong, right? It makes sense.
Definitely.
Notebook LM is a great place to dabble if you are somebody who's like, I just need to get started in a safe environment.
Definitely.
And what I love, Tracy, is that you've highlighted so many features. I was sitting at Starbucks literally yesterday, and I was struggling. I guess I'll admit what I was struggling with, but I'm writing a book with a colleague. And honestly, the book has gotten a little big, and the person I'm writing with is more of like an academia success person. And I'm like, okay, am I even understanding like what our goals are with this book. Like, are we still on track? I was like, I have this literally like multi-page document with so much rich information. I'm like, I don't even remember where we left off. So all I did, Tracy, I kid you not, I threw it in a notebook LM and I had it create a few different things. One thing I had it create was an infographic. Obsessed with their infographics. They do such a good job.
Yes.
They also have the new beta slide deck. So I was kind of looking at the book then, like if it was broken up into slides, which helped me understand the sections that were being built. I just was it helped me get back on track with a really big project that I felt was overwhelming. Plus, then everything you just shared, I didn't even realize the chatbot feature allows you to dig into it as a research assistant. I've never even used it that way, and I probably use it twice a week.
Yep. Yeah. And so what I've done for our administrators, I've built, for each school, I load in their data and it's like, well, what about, how do I help select students for a tutoring program? Where are our areas of need in ELA? What standards did we do? I'm like, and I do teach them to read the reports. That's important. But sometimes it's really great to be able to say, here we go. It's like, enter it in there. Sometimes it just confirms what you know. Let's see. Does it agree with this? Does it agree with we are viewing the data this way? Is it agreeing with our analysis of the data? And it's just amazing. But I did love too, make me a school improvement plan with actual steps. So yeah, the chat feature is excellent. What I love is you can bring in outside sources. I just choose not to most of the time. I like to have my closed sources. And because when I use my district account, it does not learn from, it does not go out and learn from your data. It does say, and it will tell you like your data is not being utilized. And that's when when I'm logged into my district account, my data does not go out, or nor do they use it to improve their models. So I always tell teachers that, yes, that we also have, I just did a presentation about 2 weeks ago for our new teachers, and, a lot of people, they use it, they understand ChatGPT, they use a lot of ChatGPT, which is great, but there's a lot of other tools out there. And Gemini is also part of our Google Workspace account. So kind of explain how that's a little bit of a safer search in the different tools. Vids is another one that I absolutely love that's in the Google account. We've taken so many of our slideshows and we have turned, I'm like, oh, you have a slides presentation. And our special ed director was like, this has just saved me. The slideshow that I go through has just been turned into this great video that I can now show in 5 minutes and have more time, to connect. I can get that important information out there. Principals even said for parents, some of these, slideshows that we might do at open house, I can have them watch a video and then get in the classroom. So, really, when used properly, it's a great way to save time. People know it's there too. It's like, okay, if I didn't catch every part of the presentation, I have this here. I can, rewatch it. And it's been a game changer for us. It's really just helped me to just show data in action. Here's all the data, here's everything we know. Now, what are the next steps? AI is never going to replace us as long as we're constantly thinking and like I say, I love to say research assistant. It's going to find out all that information for me, get it together and put it together. But I still need to work with my team on what are our goals? What's our focus? What are we trying to accomplish? And then we can spend more time working on that and less time, just going through spreadsheets and trying to make sense of data. It helps us to do that. So
I love the concept of utilizing AI to do a lot of the grunt work, a lot of the foundation build, and then you're the expert double checking the work. You're the expert that knows the field, knows your community, knows your students, knows the culture, and can tweak and adjust. And the reality of the situation. And
that's one thing I teach. Always check the data. Always check, no matter what. As much as I love Notebook LM, you always have to check everything, because ultimately, when you're going to put something out there as yours, you have to, you've got to go through it. We can't take humans out of the equation. Humans are very important, and I'm always working with the teachers too, just about the privacy element. It's like we want to have safe searches. We want, we don't want to load a lot of student data in here. There's a lot of ways that we can utilize this without compromising, the safety or privacy of our students.
Beautiful, beautiful visual here of administrators, coaches, directors, even department heads being able to utilize this in a way that I've never heard. I think is amazing. I cannot wait to see the resource that comes out of this podcast. As many of you know, we publish a blog following every single podcast episode on Fridays that just comes out a few hours after this conversation, for all of us to get some sort of action step. And I wonder if maybe the resources, some fun, easy, innovative ways to use Notebook LM. Another simple thing, if you're an educator walking into school today, upload your slide deck that you're using to teach students today. I don't know how you have your lesson plan mapped out, but you probably have a few slides, or maybe take a few snapshots of how you did your lesson and upload it. Have it create some sort of infographic or summary, and see what it comes up with. It might pull information you didn't feel like you focused that much on, and that's the data it pulls. It might leave you to question. It might also be fun to do that prior to the lesson and use that as the bell ringer to be able to say, this is what we're looking at from a visual point of view of where we're going. I don't know. I feel like there's so many different moments to be curious with Notebook LM that really allows you as a teacher to play a little bit.
Definitely. I mean, it's, I feel like every time I use it, like it's, it does something else. We also utilize, we do have a membership to Magic, or subscription to Magic School, which has also been a wonderful, time-saving way, differentiating materials, helping teachers to, create a syllabus depending on your level, helping to draft an email, just anything that you want to do. There's so many, there's a Raina, the chatbot, but that has been another, it's a safe space to help play, and kind of learn those tools, and then prepare, eventually they do have a child feature, which we don't have turned on yet. We're taking this year for the teachers to really understand the platform and really feel comfortable in it before we're actually pushing out the student piece right now. Because ultimately we do want to teach our students about, how to use AI responsibly, same way we do with our teachers. This is not here to replace you, but it can really help pull together some of your research and collaboration. Now from all this, what it's built, what are you going to build? What do you want to know? You are still the designer. This is pulling in your information, but what's your goals? What do we want to make it, do for us? And then how do we make this better? It's going to give you something, but it's up to you to say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm not. How do I make this something that's going to be meaningful, and really demonstrate my understanding and, and show my learning.
So many good things here. Don't forget, friends, we are also going to share the way that you can connect with Tracy to ensure that you also can get some brainstorming, add her to your network, and continue to learn from all this. Tracy, we have some questions that our community has submitted that I'd love for us to brainstorm solutions to if you're open to it.
Sure. That sounds great.
Awesome. Let's get into those. We'll be right back. Before we wrap up, if you're not subscribed to the Sustainable Teaching Substack, you're missing out. Every Friday, you'll get an episode plus a free download resource. Subscribe for free over at our Substack. And if you have any questions you want answered in a future episode, drop them over at teachersdeserveit.com by direct messaging the team or emailing Olivia at teachersdeserveit.com. Tracy, we could talk for hours, and I'm so excited to brainstorm with some of these educators. To be honest, Olivia pulls 3 questions for every episode, and I don't know how she does it, but I feel like they are perfect for our guest. And I was just skimming through the 3 questions that were submitted, and I feel the same way. I think these are perfect for you to brainstorm. So I'm so eager to hear your thoughts. Lots of different vantage points here of different educators sharing concerns. Remember, if you're listening right now and you are a paraprofessional, a classroom teacher, an administrator, a coach, a director, anything in between, feel free to share your questions with the team. We'll make it on the pod and continue to brainstorm with our guest here. The first one has to do with curriculum, which, go figure, right? I feel like this is the perfect element for us to start with. It says here, I was told to follow the curriculum with fidelity, that terrible F word, but it doesn't work for my students. I want to adapt it, but I'm scared I'm going to get in trouble. How do you make things work for your kids without going rogue? This is a really interesting question. I can only assume this teacher's maybe beginning their career more so than the end, but eager to hear your thoughts here.
Well, one of the great things that we do is when we adapt a curriculum, we do it with committees. So there is a committee that, we do a needs assessment. The committee will look at, multiple different resources in order before they select, the main resource that we're going to use as our curriculum. And what we do is, we try to prevent that's happening by just collaboration. So if you're not on the committee, you know who your person on the committee is, and we welcome that. We just implemented into reading and into literature this year. 3 years back, we did into math at the elementary level and iReady at the middle school level. And we go through this all the time. So it's like no teacher should face those issues alone. Let's talk. What's not working? Bring everybody together. Because if you're having this issue, then maybe another teacher's having this issue, but maybe there's a solution to this issue that the 7th grade teacher has or the 8th grade teacher has, that they can come together. It's like, we do encourage, let's use everything. A lot of times when teachers say, this curriculum's not working for me, a lot of times there's just resources within the curriculum that they're just not aware of. They just don't know that they exist. And, I've been through that so many times. And, we'll bring out more PD if we're feeling, whenever we start asking too many questions and there's questions I can't answer. We just did it recently for iReady. We were kind of middle of the year slump. We were a little bit concerned, like, hey, how's our pacing going? We brought in our expert and, everybody left the table. People can ask their questions. No teacher should ever have to, deal with that alone. It needs to be, who do I reach out to for this? Whether it's a member of the committee, whether it's your administrator, whether it's, the curriculum department. And I work with a partner, Linda Wagner, who's amazing. And she leads these committees. And she really, when she selects a curriculum, no stone goes unturned. She really does her research. So, we try to be very accessible. And, hey, if you're having problems, sometimes the math program, where's the, we need more fluency. Where is this? So we really help to, a lot of times it's really just understanding what's in the curriculum, what else is there. And if it does come, hey, this piece of the curriculum, this curriculum is not meeting this particular need, then maybe at times we do have to go out and look at other resources. But no teacher should ever have to, go through that alone. We're here to support.
I love the 2 vantage points here for a solution. One is, let's reach out to whoever's involved in the committee, whoever you can start talking to, get word into your department, and also be specific. What's not working? We can only problem solve when we know what problem to solve. And sometimes, and I even have fallen into this as an educator and a classroom teacher, if you can just say, oh, it's not working, and obviously you're frustrated, maybe we really have to go one step further and say, what isn't working? What a part of this feels like it's not right for your students? Because then that's something that we can really problem solve.
And then we're here to support and problem solve always.
Yes, always problem solve. I love that. And thank you for reaching out to us with that question. That is so common. So I can't wait to hear how that goes for you. Please let us know. And obviously, we will also be sharing Tracy's contact information as a great resource to add to your network here in just a little bit. Another question I pulled here, Tracy, has to do with a blog that we had recently that got a ton of activity. And I'm super interested to hear your thoughts. So I'm glad that Olivia pulled this one. It says, I eat lunch alone. I don't really have any teacher friends at my school. Everyone seems to have their people, and I just don't. Teaching is already hard, but doing it without any sort of friendship or support system feels even harder. How do you find your people at a job? And when I say that we had a blog about this, we just had a blog about like loneliness in teaching. Any thoughts about kind of like making those relationships valuable or possible?
The hard thing is make sure you're eating lunch in the lunchroom. Make sure you go into the teacher's lounge. You might, maybe, you're on a team and you might not be able to connect with your team right away. Connect with somebody from a different grade level. Show up at events, be accessible, be available. It can be very lonely, in the beginning. Sometimes even with a lot of, people who, sometimes, you might have a lot of friends, but they might not be in your subject area and you might be struggling, they don't really understand. So the more you build that network, hopefully, I wish this upon everybody. My first job when I left, it was so difficult that I grew up there. I had my kids there. I got married there. Those were my people. They're still my people. I wish that for everybody because that's, it's probably one of the lonelier parts when you do move into administration. You don't have that huge network. You're in a little bit of a different role. And that's, if I've missed anything, it's that camaraderie. So, it's going to be uncomfortable. Try to put yourself out there. Try to just, say hello, say good morning, ask questions. If you see something, ask for help. If you're struggling with somebody, ask for help. You might get some rejections, you might get but at the same time, that same person might come back around then. People are going to appreciate your effort to connect. So, it's difficult, but keep trying.
The concept of even just being accessible, like being in a public space where people move in and out, like a teacher's lounge, is a great reality. And if, asking questions or saying good morning almost feels like being too extroverted, start with compliments. Everybody loves a compliment. Walk in and be like, hey, I know we don't know each other very well, but I really like XYZ, something you taught, something you're wearing, something I heard. Like, it doesn't matter, make it up. But that really allows for a warm entrance. I will say we did publish 3 blogs on this on our site within the month of February. So if this is something that maybe is resonating with you, we also had some solutions there that are great to brainstorm. So,
and even coaching clubs, I think some of my teachers that I can think of, some of the best friends came from 2 people decided to coach the softball team together because we didn't have a softball coach. 2 people decided to, take on mathletes because we didn't have anybody. And those are some of the people that really, they get the trenches together and they really build lifelong connections. So sometimes I know it's tough to do in your first years of teaching, but when you can put yourself out there and if there's a club available for you or a sport available for you that you're able to join, or, bus duty, recess duty, whatever you can do, get yourself out there. It's a great way to have some conversations and get to know people.
Oh, so good. We will be right back as we wrap up this conversation to share how you can connect with Tracy and also some other great tools and resources. Sustainable Teaching is brought to you by Teachers Deserve It, the professional development company built on one belief: teaching shouldn't cost you your weekends, your health, or your love for this work. Learn more at teachersdeserveit.com. Tracy, this conversation has flown by, and I'm so excited for everyone to go check out Notebook LM. But in case they have any questions, not only about the resources that you've shared, the topics that you're passionate about, but also maybe just wanting a differing perspective, I'd love to have you share where our community can connect with you, even if it's as simple as an email, so that we can continue to network here on the pod.
Definitely. I mean, I'm on Twitter, or on X. I'm sorry. I'm on Notebook. I'm sorry. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Email tracyf100@comcast.net. You're always welcome. I love to hear questions. I love to be able there. There's no better feeling when you have information or something that can help someone else and make their job any easier. That's a great feeling. So I'm always happy to do that.
Oh, such a great open door, and another way that you can continue to network here as an educator, whether you are in a classroom role or in a leadership role. It's always good to build your network. Tracy, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I cannot wait for how people are diving into this and connecting with you. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Rae. This has been a lot of fun.
Sustainable teaching.